What's going on, Space Monkeys? Welcome to Political Fight Club. I'm your host, Robert Durden, and this is the episode I just told you guys I was going to do. And I want to give a shout out to GoodpoliticGuy and Jordan Sheridan at Status Coup, who actually turned me on to this story, and it is an absolute bombshell, and they covered it very well. And both of them called it a bombshell, rightfully so. This is bananas. So this is a ProPublica article, and it is basically stating what we already knew, but putting it in, actual numbers, that the top wealthiest people in the country, the 0.0001%, so like the top 100 people, or in this case, the top 25 people in the country, pay almost nothing in taxes. So what we're talking about here is a study that just came out from ProPublica that said that the top 25 wealthiest people in the country, so just ultra billionaires, people that have hundreds of billions of dollars, pay an effective tax rate of just 3.4%. And it gets worse than that, guys. I'm going to read you some of the stats on like specific people and what they actually pay, and it's going to blow your mind whole, like Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett and Elon Musk. So let me read to you here. America's billionaires avail themselves of tax avoidance strategies beyond the reach of ordinary people. Their wealth derives from skyrocketing value of their assets like stock and property. Those gains are not defined by U.S. laws as taxable income unless and until the billionaires sell. To capture the financial reality of the richest Americans, ProPublica undertook an analysis that has never been done before. We compared how much in taxes the 25 richest Americans paid each year and how much Forbes estimated their wealth grew in that same time period. So the way that it works, guys, is that your income and your wealth generated are completely separate. So like the income that a lot of these CEOs take in is not that much, like their salary. And in fact, a lot of them, when they become ultra rich, they just don't take a salary at all. They take like a salary of like $1 to prove like they're not making a bunch of money. And that's because most of their wealth is generated from like stocks and dividends. So that's why the stocks and dividends doesn't get taxed at the same way that your taxable income comes in, your actual salary. So after deductions and loopholes, they end up paying a far less effective tax rate. Like it's less than 5% for most of these people. So it goes on. We're going to call this their true tax rate, or the effective tax rate. The results are stark. According to Forbes, those 25 people saw their wealth rise a collective $401 billion from 2014 to 2018. They paid a total of $13.6 billion in federal income taxes in those 5 years. A true tax rate of only 3.4%. And I'm going to give you the actual numbers of some of the people that you know very well, like Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos. Warren Buffett pays a true tax rate of 0.1%, or I think that means 10 cents on every $100 made. Jeff Bezos, he grew $99 billion over that time period. $99 billion. He only reported that he made $4.2 billion, so therefore he only paid $973 million, which is 0.98%. And Elon was actually pretty high. He paid 3.27% effective tax rate. Let's not forget, guys, the billionaires in this country, just over COVID alone, have made over $1 trillion. That's like just over a year and a half tops. They've made $1 trillion if you're a billionaire. Meanwhile, all of the rest of us, poor folk, have lost everything, especially if we're out of work and living on savings. If I may, I'm going to rehash an old chestnut that I had in, it was a different episode where I was talking about how you can actually simply tax the money that billionaires have made since the beginning of the pandemic at a normal income tax rate, and you can pay for a guaranteed basic income. If you tax them at the normal 20 to 30% on that $1 trillion that these billionaires have basically stolen via disaster capitalism because of COVID from us, you get $200 to $300 billion, and it only costs $219 billion to give everybody in this country a guaranteed basic income. Why don't we do that? If Joe Biden was FDR, all he would do something like that. It's just all you're doing is just like making these people pay their fair share of taxes like any of the rest of us would. Make them pay 25%, and it just has to be on income they may, or not income, wealth accumulated over the last year and a half. If you just taxed them at even 20% of wealth accumulation just from the billionaires over the last year, we could all have a guaranteed basic income. It only costs $219 billion to do so. But that's what Biden would do if he were like FDR, but he's not. They just want you to think so on MSNBC and CNN. It's all bullshit. He's much more like Herbert Hoover, or worse. They want you to think he's like FDR because they think you're too stupid to do your own research and find out what FDR actually did, which is raising taxes on the rich. And he would absolutely be for a wealth tax. And he would absolutely be for something like this, which is, it's not even really a wealth tax. It's just taxing the wealth made in the last year off of disaster capitalist billionaires. And you could pay for a guaranteed basic income at 20%, which is still less than what most of us pay in income taxes. So I wanted to drop that on you guys. I highly recommend you read this article and also look into the videos that were dropped by GoodpoliticGuy and Status Coup. Jordan Sheridan does a longer one that's like an hour long, and GoodpoliticGuy does short stuff like me, like between 7 and 10 minutes. This is crazy. It's just basically, quantifying what we already knew, But I mean, Warren Buffett, he's seen as like, he's like the godfather of like wealth accumulation. Everybody looks at him like he's some sort of fucking guru. He's just a tax dodger. He pays 0.1%. 10 cents on the $100, I think that's what it is. Unbelievable. But I guess really in this country, not so unbelievable. And in fact, quite believable. So keep fighting the good fight out there, guys. We need to make these rich pricks pay their fair share, for God's sakes. The Stop Cheaters Act would help. Ro Khanna's Stop Cheaters Act would help tremendously with re-auditing these guys and closing tax loopholes. But that's not enough. Just make them pay normal taxes like everybody else. We're not asking for anything more than that. And we could have a lot of nice things in this country. But Joe Biden's not going to do that because he's not like FDR. I'll talk to you guys later.